If you think you're lonely now, think you're lonely, lonely.
They couldn't wait for me to turn the mics back on. I'm so embarrassed right now.
You know you love it. You know you love Marcus J.
Ain't no half stepping, Marcus J. We're back. We are transitioning from our sports hour into our entertainment and socially conscious hour. We're going to start off by doing the profile of the missing and endangered child. We'll go into that, and then we're going to ask Carlton Banks, what do you think about it? Young Amir D-Rod Jennings is an endangered missing child. His date of birth is June 28, 2010. He is about a year and a half old. He's a black male. He has been missing since December 5th from Columbia, South Carolina. He's about 2 feet 2 inches tall, weighs 25 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. There are going to be photos of young Amir showing on my Facebook page, my personal page, as well as the Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J page. He was last known to be in the company of an adult female relative. Unfortunately, I don't have information on who that person is. As I'm reading through this, I'm getting chills right now because the listing on the website says that foul play is suspected. They may be traveling to North Carolina and or Georgia. If you have seen young Amir D-Rod Jennings, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Contact them at their website, which is missingkids.com, or contact them by phone at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. And as a side note, starting on tomorrow, actually on, what is today, 16th, so starting on Thursday the 18th, TV1, the TV channel TV1, will be debuting a new television show called Find Our Missing. Debuts January 18th on TV1, and it tells stories about black Americans who are missing, hoping to turn up some clues that'll solve some of those cases. So if you are someone who finds this close to your heart like I do, please take a look at this new show called Find Our Missing that's going to debut on TV1 on January 18th. Check your local listings. And that's it. I got Carlton Banks here. He's going to ask you, what do you think about it? Carlton Banks, take it away, bro.
What do you think? Now, Marcus and I, we both share another thing in common, and that's children. We both have a child, and we spend a lot of time with that child, and that child, it takes up a big portion of our life. Without that child in our life, I think that we would be upset brothers, wouldn't you?
I would lose my mind if I
and,
didn't have Mama J.
Right. So, that being said, granted, children did not ask to come here, and they may use that on us when they're mad at us. But when there's a significant other involved, i.e. the person that helped create that child, how important to you is it that they are in their lives? You know, paying child support, spending time, things of that nature, helping to rear that child, helping to cater to the child's needs. So my question more so is, why do you think a deadbeat parent should get the chance to spend time with their child? Again, you're supposed to help rear the child, cater to the child, take care of all the child's needs. You may not have wanted the child to come in here, but you help participate in the act that created the child. You may not like the mother, you may not like the father. But again, should a deadbeat parent be allowed to spend time with the child? Now, I posed this question on my Facebook page the other day, and it shocked me to see that some deadbeat parents, or some parents, allowed the deadbeat to participate in the child's life. And granted, that deadbeat parent said to that person that, hey, I can't visit you anymore because said parent has has my wages garnished, and I can't afford to see you. That sounds like some crazy ish to me, for real. I mean, really, Ruben, what do you think?
Cop out.
Cop out? Yeah. I think a lot bigger words than cop out. But
yeah. First of all, I think we need to verify deadbeat parents as in male or female.
Well,
because
it's normally dads.
I understand that, but there are some deadbeat women out there.
Yeah, that's why I said parents. I didn't say.
I understand that. I just want to clarify that because there's sometimes I know some brothers who are raising their own sons and daughters by themselves. Not that the significant other or the mother is a quote unquote deadbeat. It's just I know that there's some people out there, some men out there raising children themselves. And first of all, we need to give a big ups for that and any other single parents around here, because raising a child by yourself is a very, very, very hard process. It is unfair
Absolutely.
to that parent who has to raise a child herself because somebody else decides that they don't have time or they don't want their responsibilities of doing so. Now, with that being said, like I said on the Facebook, I just put it simple. Hey, look, you ain't trying to send them come see the kid? That's on you. However, you know, you can't complain if you don't go to the court. Now,
Exactly.
if you ain't got no
I
money,
agree with that totally.
yeah, if he ain't got no money, then he's behind bars and he ain't making no other kids. You know, and I'm sorry, that's a punishment for that other person. But if you not going to the courts trying to get it done, then you can't complain.
And
period.
And you know, I know some people who won't go to the courts, or they don't tell the person who their father is, even though they may know them. But that's my issue.
Yeah.
And I see beyond that. And again, I'm not living that person's life, and that person gets the chance to make that decision. However, I know if I want to know who my daddy is, I want to know now. I don't want to know 20 years from now. Okay, I don't want to know 30 years from now. I want to know right now if you know who my daddy is.
Well, you get the
Or
situation.
my mother, for that fact. Let me be partial.
Yes.
Let me
Now,
be
sometimes there's a situation, there's extenuating circumstances in which that's not possible, such as the negative things, such as, you know, rape and things of that such.
Right.
That's understandable, and I'm completely cool with
circumstances.
that. Yes. Don't forget to give us a call, 804-726-3430 with your opinions.
Yeah,
because
please.
we want your opinions. Hit us up on the Facebook. Hit us up on the Twitter. You got to do it now. We're here. We're talking about it. And it's just important for you to do so.
We got a Facebook here. Maida tells us, Maida in New Jersey, says you don't need money to spend time with your child. Doesn't cost a thing to swing your child on a swing in the park. You can sit and watch movies at home with your child. The list goes on. And I agree with her. You know, I don't think that there's any excuse for not spending time with your children. I mean, I come from a family where the men were always there, the women were always there. That's my point of view. That's my perspective.
Correct.
When I became a father, you know, I couldn't imagine a time without having Mama J down the hall from me.
Exactly.
You know, the thought of it, you know, makes me sick. Everybody in my immediate, and I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate. I've realized that I'm fortunate because everybody in my immediate circle, you know, who are parents, are good parents. Carlton Banks over here is a good father. My brother, my big brother, is a great father, and I watch him and my own father, as well as a wonderful father. And I think, if you ask most people who know me, will tell you that I'm a pretty decent father.
Just don't ask them to fix anything in the house.
Myself. So I don't understand how you can have somebody that looks like you, that comes from you, and you not be there. And we're not going to just make this about dads. And I know that Carlton didn't present it that way. He made a point of not presenting it that way. But I just fell into the stereotype of assuming, because that's what we do.
Exactly.
You know, and
that's all we hear about.
And that's what we hear about. And I fell into that trap, like just now, just in talking. Didn't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I fell into that trap. So I think that we need to be clear, because there are a lot of fathers that are doing what they need to be doing, and in some cases it's moms. But we're talking about deadbeat parents.
Exactly.
Correct.
You know, and you know, obviously we got a call coming in. Carlton's going to screen that, see who that is, and we'll get to him in a minute. But you know, Ruben, I just don't understand how you can have a child and not take care of your child.
Most
you know, and I think a lot of that comes to, from the fact that, you know, people are having children with people that they don't even like. You know what I mean? Like you don't even like him, or you don't even like her. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, unfortunately, you know, the child suffers for that. So we're gonna go ahead and take a call. Caller, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Nari.
This is Nari. Nari, what's up?
Yes, this is Nari Roberts in the house.
Hey, you going, girl? Thanks for calling. How you been?
I'm good. Good. I thought I was going to wait to call in for a sports question, but this question was a really good one. Figured I'd call in now to give you my opinion. as a 35-year-old person whose father was not there when I was young, I agree with whoever it was on Facebook who said, it does not cost money to see your children. If you don't have money to your children, a lot of mothers will, bring the child to you. Mothers will make it happen, I'm sure. I know my mother would have made it happen, if my father would have, basically expressed a little bit more interest in seeing his children. I'm sure things would have been worked out.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. What if the mother is trying to block? Well, again, I apologize. Just fell into the trap
Mother
again.
or father,
What if the mother or father is trying to prevent you from getting to know that person? You should be.
You know what? Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I know that there are, I'm going to talk about the females. I don't know too many males that are blocking their children from seeing their mother, but I do know a lot of females that are doing it, mostly for monetary reasons.
Right.
I don't believe in that. It happens all the time, but you got to watch who you're having children with as well.
I think I just made that point a minute ago.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying I made that point a minute ago. A lot of times you find yourself having children with people you don't even like. I don't even like her.
Yes,
she don't even like me.
Exactly.
And next thing you know, there's a child produced, and the unfortunate reality here, a lot of times the child catches the brunt of the feelings between the adults. So, and I'll use men as a point of reference because I'm a man, but me and her was just getting it in, and it went down. Exactly. She got pregnant. I don't really like her, but now she's got a baby coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So there shouldn't be a question of what I'm going to do, Nari, but a lot of times there is.
Now I
know. I have guy friends that are in that situation as well. They have children with people they have never even been with in a relationship at all, ever,
right,
and had no plans on being with, but they still are really good fathers to their children. They, they're not with the woman or whatever, but they take care of their children. So listen. I feel like if there's a will, there's a way. That's the bottom line for me. And in the end, you have all these children now. Like I said, I'm 35, and you have all these children that are grown now, and some of them have their own children, and they still are feeling some kind of way about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away because you get older. If you believe me, I know a lot of guys, males and females.
Right.
They feel they still have animosity toward their father.
And you carry it into adulthood.
I don't think it's going away.
Yeah. Maida's hitting us again on the Facebook page. She's saying that deadbeats have issues with themselves, which makes them selfish. They haven't grown up and probably won't ever grow up. Nari, what do you think about that comment?
Yeah, I hate to put my real father out there, but yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like he is selfish. He has I think 7 children, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone.
7 children. That he claims. I think he has more, but that's another story. And, he has been a father to the younger ones, but to the older ones, I believe, there was just, he was going through a selfish period, but now he's in his 60s, and I feel like I've reached out several times.
And that's what matters, that you reached out.
Yeah, I've reached out. I've reached out in high school. I've reached out in college. I've reached out when I first got to the WNBA. I've reached out several times, and if I don't put the effort forward, he's not either. Which is, that's not a good look. Especially now that I'm grown, I don't have any animosity toward him, but I can't say some of my other siblings don't.
Yeah,
true.
And that's
now you're probably closest to your siblings, I presume, right?
No, I don't even know them.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
Well, my brother. But other than my brother, I don't really even have a relationship with any of them. They're all spread out, and
And well, from that standpoint alone, just because he was a deadbeat, it probably made it hard for you to even connect. It's fortunate you even know you have siblings.
Yeah, let me just tell you, before Facebook, I wouldn't even be able to tell you their names. I can tell you that right now.
Wow.
Well, let me ask you this, and you don't. I mean, this will be a tough question, but if you don't want to answer, that's fine. But I want to kind of see how this kind of manifests itself into adulthood. Do you find that you have difficulty connecting when it's time to have a boyfriend or something like that because of the relationship or lack thereof with your dad?
You know what? I always think about that. I think I had other outlets, like I played basketball or whatever, so I had another outlet. I didn't wind up on the pole or anything like that. Had I not been, had I not had such a strong mother, and I had a stepfather as well that stepped in, but I believe had I not had basketball to focus on, it could have gone in a different way.
That's awesome.
But I'm sure it has an effect. I'm sure it has an effect. I'm just not sure exactly what it is, But I do think about had I had my father there to talk to and guide me and, give me words of wisdom, tell me about boys and things of that nature, I'm sure, I'd be a different person today. I don't know if it would be worse or better, but I would be a different person for sure.
All right. Well, Nari, we appreciate you calling in. We appreciate the support. For the listeners, Nari is a supporter. She's listened to us throughout. You dropped a dime on us a minute ago and mentioned that you were in the WNBA. We're going to actually have you talk to us a little bit about your experience and have you do some NBA analysis. I'm going to put you on the spot. So one day later into the season, when there's no football and we can focus on the NBA, we're going to have you come back and talk to us a little bit about that stuff. So thank you so much. I just put you on the spot. I hope you don't mind.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And whatnot. So, and your brother called in, and I think he's listening with us now. So, hopefully he is. So, thank you so much. We appreciate the love, and we'll talk to you next time. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate that, Nari.
I mean, she made a lot of good points. She made a lot of good points, and let's kind of talk, about a couple of them. She mentioned how, she's close to one of her siblings, but then there's other siblings that she doesn't have that strong a relationship with, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they were so spread out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, I don't want to disrespect her dad, but because he wasn't there, I don't want to use the word deadbeat, but that's essentially the subject that we're talking about. Because he wasn't there, and kind of governing the family as he should have been.
He couldn't keep the cohesiveness there.
Right. And so now you got a bunch of siblings that are spread out that don't even know each other. I couldn't imagine not having a relationship with AJM and WCJ3. I couldn't. I couldn't imagine. So for someone to be in that position and not be able to have a relationship, and Carlton is very close with his brother.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak out of turn. You can speak for yourself, but I know how close y'all are. So your twins was a little bit different there, but just if you could imagine not having access to you, that's one of the things that comes from the whole deadbeat thing. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I didn't even consider until she brought it up. So I don't know. I mean,
when I was doing my research and trying to get some information on it, they actually have websites for this stuff, man.
Yeah, they do.
It's amazing. Now, I didn't see any with any pictures, just names. One girl listed phone numbers, cell phone numbers, work numbers, everything for this person to let them know that this person is a deadbeat. I even had a series where one person told me by calling in, you can give your opinion at 804-726-3430. Would love to hear from you. The person said, I think the child should decide. 1, a right by definition doesn't have to be earned. 2, children are smarter than what we give them credit for. If the parent, and I did mean to say parent because there isn't just a man issue, is truly a deadbeat, then the child was slowing grow to avoid that relationship, as opposed to seeking out that bad relationship because they blame the other parent for keeping them away, which becomes their answer to why that deadbeat parent is the way they are. Some things have to be learned by experience. Again, I don't want to learn the fact that my daddy is somebody else. Now I know, and Neri, I am very happy that Nari. I'm very happy that your stepfather stepped up. He stepped the game up. He said, you know what? I'm taking this woman to be my lawfully wedded wife, and he is going to be here for you. That's great. A lot of men don't do that. I have to commend Jay Grizzy. Jay Grizzy is one of my best friends. He's got 2 step kids. He's adopted them as his own. He's taking care of another, 2 kids. He's being that father. He's stepping in that role. Now, again, I'm not saying the boy's biological is a deadbeat. Nowhere near that. But anytime a man steps up and becomes that person's father, or helps to rear that child, then that's great. I love it. I really and truly love it. Marcus and I, April was coming up. We'll be talking about the draft very soon. We're taking our kids with us when we go get wings. That's a great day for us. There's nowhere I would go without my stick man. Well, there are a few places I would go without my stick man, but for 99% of the time, my stick man is going to be there. I'm going to spend that time. I'm going to spend that dollar. He deserves that. If I can't teach him some of the things now from being involved, then nobody else will.
Our guest co-host Tony called us and hit the Facebook page. There should be a national database, just like sex offenders. Okay. I like that. That's a good idea. I like the fact that you've got some place that you can go to find these people who have abandoned their children.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
We got Charles calling back. This is Charles, who was with us earlier, the 49ers fan. He wants to get in on this subject. Charles, go. Floor is yours.
Hey, how you doing? This is something I see a lot, Brett. Like I said, I work in our domestic court, so I see this whole issue with parents fighting over kids. Women saying fathers can't see their kids because they're not paying enough money on child support, or vice versa. A lot of people like to put a lot of stuff on the dads. It's about 50-50.
Right, it's both ways.
Plenty of women that I see coming in the courts don't do a thing for their children.
Probably coming in looking like trash, don't they?
No.
Really? Okay.
No. I'm talking about, and I'm in Northern Virginia. I'm talking about affluent families who making $110,000 a year, drop their kids off, don't come visit, don't say nothing, just dip and leave with another man.
Ooh.
Don't come back. Every now and again, might call on the phone. Then come to court, want to have different demands on what the child should do, how the child's life should go, what school should the child go to. But yet you don't spend any time with the kid. You don't want to come to visit the kid because you got a whole other life. Or with other kids, you got a whole separate family, and now your first set of kids from your first marriage can't come through because your new wife or your new husband don't really get along with those kids. And so you might pick your kid up on the weekend, but you don't bring them to your house. You take them to the park for 10 minutes, and then think, well, you can't come home with me because my new wife don't like you. My new husband don't like you.
So that's not cool. That's not cool.
So based on the business that you're in, you see a lot of this on a daily basis.
And it's rough on the kids. I like something that somebody, you were saying, I don't know who was saying that they read about, you should let the kids decide. But because kids are smarter than what we give them credit for. And
they are.
See, what's going on. A lot of times you got these, the parents bad mouthing the other parent, talking about, your father ain't this or your mother ain't that, your father don't do this for you, your father don't do that for you. But that's not something that's necessary. A kid will see as they grow up and decide for themselves, where their alliances are. Because a lot of times what happens is, if this kid is wrong for the mother or the father that's not there, and the one that is constantly bad mouthing that parent, they'll tend to draw closer to that parent and disassociate themselves with the one that is with.
Right.
And like kids don't ask to be here.
Yeah. Right.
That's the big
bottom line.
And the whole thing, like you were saying, like especially now, you get with somebody, you meet somebody, no kind of relationship. You had this kid, you don't really like. I ain't like her. Mm-hmm. I just got in, I met her, we got it in. Now she's pregnant. She trying to trap me, and she trying to do this.
Yeah. That's kind of what I alluded to earlier, Charles. That whole, I'm not feeling her. It just kind of happened. I don't really like her, so I'm not going to take care of my seed. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not the kid's fault.
No.
And it's so sad. It's halfway depressing.
Right.
Especially because I listen to this every day.
Yeah.
It's depressing that people can come in and just have such blatant disregard for children.
Yeah. And this is a sensitive subject. I mean, this is one of those subjects that we can probably do a whole hour, 2 hour show on this one, Charles. We thank you for listening. We thank you for the call. We're gonna go ahead and move on. We got to take one more call, hopefully, and then we're gonna go into our next segment. Keep listening because we got our rants and our closings coming up soon. Appreciate the support, bro. Have a good one. All right. I mean, he made some good points. You know, and this is coming from the perspective of someone who actually works in the business. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where he is actually seeing them come in, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Big Room. I again, as Carlton was saying, when we have our production meetings for the show,
Yeah.
Mama J is often with us.
That's right.
And Lil Carlton is always there.
Yeah.
He's always there. Every time.
I tell you,
Yeah.
there will not be too many places I go. He would not be with me. And that goes back to the fact that I love my son. I want to be around my son. If I have a daughter, I want to be around her. I'm going to be at every event that he or she has in the future. It pains me to know that men and women do not step up enough in the child's life to help get them where they need. As a species, it takes us 18 years, 18 to mature. We take the longest animal. We take the longest to mature out of any species out there. Cats, rabbits, dogs, gorillas, apes, horses, pigs, fish, dolphins, whales. We take 18 years to get to a maturity level that is respected in today's society. These other species don't take that long. That child takes 18 years. You're indebted to that kid, that person, that body, that spirit, which is your legacy. Okay? If you leave nothing else, you leave that as a legacy, and you don't want that legacy to be tarnished or hindered in any way. Now, granted, the deadbeat could be in jail, and hell, parents go to jail because of child support.
Yeah, because of being deadbeats.
Yeah, being deadbeats. I'm told in front of somebody I know has been like that. And it's scary that you don't pay money, you go to jail.
Yeah. Maida's hitting us again on the Facebook page, and she's saying that these deadbeats fail to realize that one day they're going to need their child. That child would turn their backs on them, and it's too late sometimes. That's a great point, because a lot of times when the deadbeat comes to the realization that they didn't do what they were supposed to do, it's too late. The child has reached that 18 or more maturity. They don't need them, and there's a whole lot of resentment. And now that the parent has come to a position in their lives where they actually need the child,
Right.
it's too late, because the child won't want to have anything to do with them. And then, unfortunately, you could potentially be starting a cycle of dysfunction, generation after generation after generation. And it's unfortunate, and it's very sad, because it's unnecessary. Because all you really have to do is simple. Take care of your kid. That's it. We're going to end it there. We're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the closings. And we're going to get into the rants. We're going to really get it in today. Carlton Banks, Big Rube, Marcus J. Ain't no half-stepping. We'll be back in a minute.
Oh, no, this is Michael.